Good morning, everybody, or afternoon, whenever you're watching this, and welcome to our Sprouts Cooking School virtual playdate on Indie with Kids. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I would love to hear where all of our families are today. So I'd love to share with everybody. So let me know in the comments, and I will start reading those comments. We've got hello from Whitestown. Hello, Ford family. Thank you so much for watching. I see my friend Ashley on here with her kiddos. So exciting. I have been loving these virtual play dates. Of course, I'd rather be there in person, but how cool is this that we get to play together online, learn something new, and have a really good time together. We've got Angie and family, the Teed family from Greenwood watching. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so fun. How cool that we can all be kind of together from our own homes. I just love, love, love technology today. So a couple things before we get started on our Sprouts Cooking School. You can watch this anytime. We will have a replay for you, and feel free to watch anytime. We're so excited to be with Sprouts Cooking School today because it's a place that my kids have loved to learn cooking. We took an international cooking class there where over the course of 4 weeks, we learned how to make cuisine, or my kids did. I wasn't there. I got to drop them off, and we got to taste the cuisine that they made from different areas of the world, which is fantastic. Today, Stephanie, the owner of Sprouts Cooking School, and her family are going to teach you guys to make chicken and rice soup. So really fun. Just like every day, we want you to be sharing your pictures with us of you participating in the play date on social media. So definitely share some of those photos on Instagram, tag Indie with Kids, and we'll share them with our friends here every morning. So yesterday was our Ninja Zone play date with Coach Danny and Nora, and check it out. You guys had a really good time. I know we had fun here in our home as well. All ages, everybody just getting their ninja moves on yesterday on St. Patrick's Day. So tons and tons and tons of fun. If you missed that play date, you can still go to our Facebook page after this play date and watch it. You can also find it on YouTube and on indiewithkids.com. Thank you so much to all of you guys who are tagging us on Instagram and sharing your adventures with our playdates. It's been really, really fun to see. So make sure you do that today. Also, we have an opportunity for you guys to be a part of our playdate. Our playdate every day is live on Facebook, and then we get to go remotely to some of your homes and see you and your family taking part in the play date. It's super easy. You can do it from your cell phone and have a lot of fun doing that. So all you have to do is let me know in the comments that you're interested. I want to double check something because I just got a message that maybe some of you guys are having a hard time seeing this. Let's see. Okay, it looks like we're still live, so that's a good thing. Just wanted to check on you guys out there. So now we're gonna go join owner of Sprouts Cooking School, Stephanie, and her family in their kitchen at Sprouts Cooking School. This is a awesome kitchen that has basically child-sized everything. It's a ton of fun. There's like countertops that are made specifically for children to enjoy learning to cook. There's tools that are made specifically for children. And as our family has always loved Sprouts Cooking School, and I know you're going to love it too. So let me go find Stephanie here. Hi, Stephanie.
Hey, Katie. How are you?
Good, good. Who do you have with you today?
So today I'm cooking with my own 3 children. So Sprouts Cooking School is a school for kids ages 3 through 13. And right here we're representing several of the different age groups. So we're so excited to cook with all of the viewers at home.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I will check back in if I'm seeing a lot of the same comments or questions. But welcome, and thank you so much for being here.
Great. Thanks so much, Katie. So hi, everybody. As she said, I'm Stephanie. I'm the owner here at Sprouts. And today we're making chicken and rice soup. So no worries if you don't have some of these ingredients, but we really did try to think about some things that you might have in your home. So there are a lot of pantry staple ingredients, but this recipe is also gluten-free, dairy-free, peanut and tree nut-free. So I hope a lot of you will be able to join in at home. One of the things that we did ask you to do is go ahead and cook and shred 2 cups of chicken, and then we also wanted you to roast your garlic. This will just keep our class moving at a good speed, but if you didn't have time to do that, no worries. As Katie said, you can watch it at any time. So for all my chefs at home, the first thing that you need to do before you start cooking is wash your hands. So I want everybody to go and wash their hands right now. I'm going to go over to this stage just so we go faster. You want to come to this one too? Okay, thanks. And while you're at your sink, if you want to go ahead and start washing your veggies, I have carrot, celery, thyme. If you want to go and give those a rinse while you're at your sink, you can go ahead and do that. Our veggies here are already cleaned and prepped for us. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. The first thing that we're going to do is called a mise en place. It means everything in its place. It's important that chefs keep their workstation really clean and orderly. So we're going to go step by step prepping each of our veggies. So the first one we're going to go ahead and do is our carrot. So all my kids, go ahead and pick up your carrots. We're going to peel the carrot, but the important thing is we really want to keep our fingers tucked and pulled away from the blade, and we're just going to go down and scrape it. We're using a garbage bowl, but you can do this over your trash can, or go ahead and get a bowl like this so that you can catch all of your carrot peels. Good job. Okay. Good peeling, a little messy. Good, good, good. And then once your carrot is peeled, you know what, I still like to go ahead and give it an extra rinse because, you know, you want to get any of those extra carrot peelings off. So peel your carrot, and then when you're all done, go ahead and give it a good rinse for me. Thank you. I will clean up all of these peels. Okay, Gracie, did you rinse? Okay, good. So your carrot should look nice and clean like this, if all of you can see, okay? All right, good job, buddy. Now rinse it off. Okay, so we're gonna begin cutting our vegetables. One thing I really want you to be sure of is that we're holding our knives correctly. It should look like this, with your fingers kind of gripping just like this. And then we're gonna wanna curl our fingers away from the blade. Okay, so Emma and Grace, they know how to do this. They are 9 and above, but Jack, he's 8, so he doesn't use our real knife at Sprouts. So if you are joining us and you have a child under the age of 8, then moms, I'm gonna want you to do this part for your child, okay? So our carrot has 2 ends. We're gonna take those off and put them into our garbage bowl. So let me move some things so you can see how we're gonna do it. I'm going to cut off the end, then I'm going to cut off the end. Those are going to go into the garbage bowl, okay? Now I want you to cut your carrot in half. So find the middle point, and we're going to cut that in half. If you have 2 pieces that look like this, that's what you should have. Okay, next, take one of your pieces, and with curled fingers, just like this, good job, we're going to cut down, okay? The reason that we do this is we always want to have a flat surface when we're cutting. It's more stable. If you guys need help, let me know, okay? Now that we have a nice flat piece, I'm going to cut it in half again, okay? And I'm going to do that to my other piece, okay? So you end up with 4 sticks like this, okay? The great thing about this now is I can line up my sticks and then I can cut through. Okay, this is gonna give us a more even dice. Here is a size of a piece that I would like you all to end up with. And moms for kids under the age of 9, now you can hand these nice, more stable pieces to your kids to work with. And so Jack has a special tool that we have at Sprouts that helps him cut by pushing down. If you like any of these products, totally feel free to message us and we can tell you where we purchase. And he also has a safety knife. But you just want to give your kids a more easy piece to cut with so that they can work with it, okay? As we're cutting, we're keeping everything in a nice, neat pile on our cutting board. Great job. I'm going to go ahead and get this other piece ready for Jack to cut. Okay, lining them up, buddy? Okay, you can, why don't you just do 2 at a time, and that'll be easier, and then you can just press down, okay? And we're keeping our fingers really curled away, okay? Good job. Good job. Okay, watch your fingers. Okay, good job. Okay, and then you're gonna put them in a pile like this, okay? Okay, and your fingers are curled, we're cutting and we're placing. Sometimes parents, I like to cut one example piece for my kids or my students, and then I'll put it on the top of the cutting board. It's really important that all of your pieces are the same size. So try to guide your child and make sure they're getting uniform cuts as they are doing this recipe. It helps everything cook really evenly. So just try your very best to get all of your carrots to be the same size. Okay, I think we're just about finishing up our carrots. And we're gonna go ahead and put them into a bowl because we're gonna measure them later. This recipe uses about 2.5 to 3 carrots, but everybody's carrots are different sizes. So we wanna make sure we get accurate measurements. One thing we really work on at Sprouts is teaching the fundamentals. We want proper measurements so we're not guessing in our recipes. After you taste a recipe the first time, you can be the chef and decide if you wanna change it, have double carrot, or we don't like celery, we can do it. But the first time we're gonna cook the recipe just as it was written. Okay, so we're getting all of our carrots in the bowl. Great job. You guys did an awesome job as a team because your pieces are really good in the same size. So proud of you. Next, we're gonna move on to our celery. So if you're at home, what was the first thing that you had to do? Did you cut it in half, or did you have to trim the ends off? I hope that you said you had to cut the ends off because that's what we're gonna do first. Okay, so just as I did before, I'm gonna get Jack's ready for him. And girls, we're gonna trim the ends off each piece, okay? And then those ends are gonna go into our garbage bowl, okay? Good job. Now, before you do that, what was our second step? We had to cut it in half. This just gives kids a smaller surface to work with. It's easier for them to control than one long piece. Okay, this is a little different. Last time, we just chopped through. This time with your knife, I want you to curl your fingers but drag your blade all the way through. So that tip of your knife, we're just gonna drag it all the way down, okay? And then we're gonna do the same thing on our second piece. Drag all the way down. Now Jack has 4 pieces that he can cut with. So I'm gonna pass those on to Jack, and we're gonna go ahead and do the same size pieces as our carrots, okay? So can you guys try to make your celery the same size as the carrots that we did? Because we want our celery and our carrot to cook at the same speed when we put it into our pot. Okay, and I really want you to curl your fingers back, okay? We're thinking like a bear claw if you're at home. So we're really curling those fingers. So my knife is like this, but my fingers are like a bear. Grr. Okay? Good job. Just gonna clean up our workstation a little while you guys are busy. Good job. I have another bowl that's going to be for our celery. So could you guys each put your celery into the bowl? When we're not using our knives, it's important that they rest with the blade away from you on your cutting board. Okay? Now go ahead and add them to the bowl. Good job. Okay. Good job. Oh, see, I love how Jack is doing this. You see how he's trying to measure? So he's lining it up and measuring. And I think it's so cool to see how different kids learn in different ways. But good job, Jack. I love how you did that. Okay, so now we have our celery. So our final step in getting our veggies all prepped is going to be our onion. Now, we're going to demonstrate how you properly cut an onion. And I'm going to have Emma do it. But you see there's two sides to your onion. What is an observation that you guys have about this onion? What is different on this side than is different on this side? Do you see anything?
The bottom, it's like flat.
This one's a little flatter. Does it have like what looks like a bulb on the end?
No.
Well, this is the bulb. So this hairy part right here, that's the bulb. And we don't want to cut that off. But this end we do want to cut off because it's going to give us a flat work surface. So make sure you find the end that looks like it has little hairs on it. And that side, we are not cutting right now. We're cutting this side. So, Emma, could you curl your fingers and then we're going to cut all the way down. Okay? Good job. Okay. So remember how we were talking about flat work surfaces? It's easier, more stable, and safer to cut. Now, we made that nice, flat, stable area that we can now cut. So I want you to find the middle of your bowl, just like this, the middle of the onion, and we're going to cut directly through the middle of that part. Okay? Good job. Now you have two pieces, like this. And there's kind of like this little paper on there, and we don't eat that part. So I'm going to need you to peel the onion and get this paper off. So just like this, we're peeling this off. And hopefully you guys won't be tearing up at home, because I know when we cut onions, they can make our eyes water. So if you need your mom to come in and help you with this part, or your dad, whoever's cooking with you, be sure to ask them to help. Okay, I'll take your peel. Thank you. Okay, next, when we're cutting an onion, we want to cut down vertically, and we're going to do strips. If you look at your onion, it might have ridges like mine, so you're going to want to make cuts in line with that. So Emma, if you could hold it, we're going to hold it on that bulb part that we've been talking about, and I'm going to come around and show her how to do it. So hold your fingers out here. And then we're just going to make little strips down, okay? Cut down. But I want you to hold the onion by the bulb, not there. There you go. Okay? Just strips down. Okay? You see how we're following along in the pattern of the onion? Okay, now I want you to put your hands flat on the top of the onion like this. Okay, is everyone doing that? And then we're going to come in horizontally and cut like this, okay? And once more here, okay? You're going to then put your fingers back on that bowl, so grip it like that, okay? We're going to cut straight down now. And the awesome part about this is it's going to give us all evenly sized pieces of onion, okay? So go ahead and press down. Great job. Okay, and do it one more time. Perfect. Okay, when you have all of your onion sitting here like this, I always think it's a good idea to just inspect your pieces if you need. Like, see this guy? He didn't get chopped up as well. So we're wanting all the same size pieces. So give your onion a little bit of an inspection here and see which pieces you may need to go back in and just give them another chop. Okay, and then Emma, I'm going to have you put the onion into this bowl when you're done. It's slippery. It's slippery. That's a good observation. That's good. You go ahead and put it in the bowl. Okay, I know that some of you may not have this next ingredient at home, but if you do, follow along. This is, any guesses? You guys know? Thyme. This is fresh thyme. And so I love adding fresh herbs into my cooking because it gives a really bright, fresh flavor that you cannot always get from dried herbs. But if you didn't have a chance to get this at the grocery or your grocery was out, you can substitute 1/4 teaspoon of dried thyme if you have that. And if you don't have that, no worries. This is just an extra. But for my students here today, what I want you to do is hold your stem like this, and then you're gonna give me 2 fingers, like your scissor fingers. And we're just gonna drag down. And when I do that, look at all these leaves that I got. Can you see? Okay. So we are wanting 1 teaspoon of fresh thyme if you have that. And I'm gonna go ahead and start our measurement here, okay? Good job. There's a little bit on there if you wanna work with that. Okay. Get rid of our onion. Okay, good job. And it's really cool because see, now we have mostly a bare stem. So we can pick a couple of more leaves off of that, but we're only eating the green leaves. We're not gonna eat the stem. Great job, guys. Okay, good. Okay, so we have finished getting everything in its place. We've prepped our veggies, we've prepped our fresh herbs. So can you guys tell me what was the big fancy word for putting everything in its place or getting organized before we start cooking? Mise en place. So we have done that. So you're officially chefs if you've done this step at home, and try to remember that word because you always want to have everything in its place before you start cooking. So now that we've done that, we're going to move over to our stove. So parents, depending on the age of your child, you're going to want to help, but everybody you're going to want to supervise. Okay. Next, I'm going to have Grace. Can you come over here? And we're going to be demonstrating proper posture when you're on the stove to keep yourself safe. So at our school, our rule is that we always have the handle for our pot facing inward. If you're at home, it might look like this sticking out, but you should always have the handle facing inward so that you don't knock anything over. The next thing is you always have your hand on the handle because if we're stirring without it, we can shift the pot and spill. So handle, holding the handle, we have it facing inward. And the next step is when we stir, see how Grace is lifting her arm up? We want to be standing tall with our stirring arm lifted so that it doesn't come down and burn us on this pan. So practice that at home just for a second and make sure that you have correct and safe posture. Okay, now we are going to turn our heat up to medium. So find your little, we have induction cooktops here, so we're going to go ahead and turn ours up. And if you have induction at home, I'm going to about 5 or 6, but if you just have the dial, just go to medium. Oh, we're getting phone calls. Okay, can you turn that, touch it so we turn it off? Okay, so our heat is on, and we're gonna go ahead and measure 1 tablespoon of olive oil, okay? So hold that, and we're gonna squeeze the olive oil in. Okay, go ahead and add that olive oil. Okay, next, we're gonna start adding our veggies. So our carrots, our celery, and our onion are gonna go into the pot, okay? Yeah. Okay, Jack, do you wanna hand me some veggies? Okay. So we added our onion. You know, I think we're gonna measure our carrots just to be sure. So we should have had 1 cup of carrots. Jack, how about you measure that for me? And Grace, or Emma, can you go ahead and add 3/4 cup of celery for me? You can keep stirring that in. Okay, can you measure that for me? Good job. Just kind of dump it so it goes faster. Okay, so we have a runaway carrot. Okay, so you see how this is really full? That is what you want yours to look like. I don't want it half full or 3/4 of the way full or missing carrots. So we're really practicing our measurements. So this is 1 cup of diced carrots. Okay, and I'm going to put that into the pot with his onion friends. Okay, Emma, here is our celery, and this is 3/4 cup of diced celery. Okay, so we're going to add that to our pot. Okay, when you're cooking, you want to season every layer as you go. So here's all of our veggies in the pot, but we want to add some seasoning so that our soup has lots of yummy flavor. So we're going to add salt and pepper. Do you guys want to come over and do? I'm going to have Emma do a pinch of pepper. The difference between salt and pepper is going to change the flavor of what you're cooking. Salt is going to enhance the flavor of what you're cooking. So if you do not like pepper, you don't have to add it. It is going to change the flavor. We love pepper. So we're going to add a pinch and see what that looks like, and then maybe we'll add another pinch. So Emma, why don't you start us off with 1 pinch? Yeah, we're going to do another pinch. How do you guys think that looks? Beautiful? Okay, good. Okay, for my salt friends, the biggest thing that I see kids do is they grab this teeny tiny pinch of salt and they drop it directly on what they're doing. Salt really is going to be up high, and you need more salt than you would think sometimes. But parents, just supervise, make sure your child's not dumping in a ton of salt, but recognize that 1 pinch of salt is not going to be enough for this soup, okay? So Jack, let me see how you are. Okay. I'm going to have you do that 2 more times, but I love how you are going up high. Good job. Okay, and 1 more. Okay. So now our veggies are going to be nice and seasoned. So just like pretty much all kids these days, since we've been stuck inside or probably arguing about some things, let's make sure that all of our kids get a chance to stir. So if you have siblings at home that are making this recipe too, it's time to pass your spoon on to your next sibling so that everybody can have a chance to stir, because stirring is always the part that kids love to do the most. Okay, so we're making sure our posture is really good. So this is going to cook for about 5 to 7 minutes. And we're going to want our onions to be translucent. I know that's a big word, but what it really means is that we want to be able to see through our onion. So it started out white, like these, and it's going to be translucent and done when you can see through it, okay? So I will show you an example when it's done. So keep stirring. We want to make sure that our veggies are getting lots of love and that they're going to get all kind of cooked down and be tender before we start it in our soup. Okay. Do we have any comments or anybody with questions as we keep going? Are we going at a good speed for everyone?
Yes, okay, and their kids fight over stirring as well.
Oh, I'm glad to know that my kids aren't the only ones fighting over stirring. Okay. So while this is cooking, parents just keep an eye and make sure their heat is correct. Make sure that nothing is burning. And I did just want to tell you, we are closed until April 6th. But we would love to have you guys back whenever it is that we get to reopen. So we have tons of fun May classes, Mother's Day, all of that stuff, and we have amazing summer camps where your kids can come into this studio and cook with us. So we offer 3 camp sessions a day, tons of fun themes for your kids, so be sure to check that out. And if you're loving this virtual cooking class, let us know, because there's a chance that maybe we could put something like that together to help support our small business. So if your kids love it, be sure to let me know and tell me what they love cooking. Okay, Emma is going to stay here, and she's going to be continuing to work on our veggies. I'll show you what mine look like right now. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so the rule for the stove, somebody has to be standing here all times. We are not walking away from the stove. We're not going to check on our video games. If you have a pot on the stove, you're standing and watching your pot, okay? But my other two kids, they're gonna start working on prepping a couple of other things that are gonna finish off our soup. Did someone have a question?
Stephanie, Sarah Ford has a question. She's asking, do you prefer kosher or regular salt for these kind of recipes?
Great question. I always use kosher salt. I like the coarse texture of the salt. And table salt, oftentimes, especially when you're working with kids, it's really fine and they add too much. So this gives us a more concentrated salt flavor. We lost a carrot. But there's also other salts you could use too. If you wanted a finishing salt, they make really great finishing salts that you could buy. And there's also pink Himalayan salt that I like to use sometimes if you're trying to cut back on sodium, then that's an awesome salt too. Okay, now we are going to move on. Do you two want to come over here? Do you want to move the camera? Because we're going to show our finishing steps, okay? So, before we started, I had asked you guys if you could roast some garlic. So here is my roasted garlic, and it looks like this. And if you didn't do this, I put a video link so you can watch the steps to do that, and that's in my Facebook profile. And I believe Katie has it as well. But there is a tutorial on how you should roast your garlic. The reason that we're roasting our garlic is this is a really fast cooking soup. So we can be done with dinner or lunch in 25 to 30 minutes. But when you have a fast cooking soup, you want to add depth of flavor. And this roasted garlic is going to make it taste like you made homemade stock, which we didn't. And so it's awesome that we can have this ingredient. So let me check in and see how Emma's doing. Okay, so they're getting translucent. I'm going to say I want her to cook it. So I'm going to show you what it looks like when you're starting. See how they're starting to get a little bit more see-through, but not all my friends look the same just yet, okay? So we are going to keep this cooking. I'm going to say two minutes more. And chefs at home, let me know how yours is cooking. Is yours needing about 2 more minutes? Did it look like my onions? Let me know. Okay. Jack and Grace, we are going to be getting our garlic and our parsley ready. Okay, so why don't you set that out? And then Jack, can you actually bring over my thyme? Because in your final minutes of this, I want you guys to go ahead and add your fresh thyme to your veggies, okay? Good job. I love the smell of fresh herbs, and thyme is awesome. I use it, I plant it in my garden, and I use it for a ton of things. So if you want like roast chicken, all of those things, this is an awesome ingredient to plant in your garden this summer. Okay, now, Jack is under the age of 9. If you have preschoolers or kids at home, I started my kids doing this with fresh herbs when they were as young as 3. And so what we're really trying to get them to do is these safety knives and things like that, they're going to bruise your leaves. So we encourage kids, we give them a stem just like this, and ask our kids if they can cut off the leaves and then cut them into small pieces. And moms at home, and dads too if you're the chef, this is an awesome way to get your kids engaged in the kitchen when you are busy on other things. Give them safety scissors, they're practicing their fine motor skills, and they're also cutting their fresh herbs and helping you at the same time. But the amount of concentration it takes little kids to cut this is going to save you from whining and crying in the kitchen during dinner time. So a great way to get fresh herbs and getting your whole family involved in the cooking process, okay? So we're going to have our kids working on that. Oh, and my onions look awesome. So I'm going to show you this. So Jack, why don't you hold off for 1 second because I want to show them what this looks like. So here's my pan. Oh, lift it up. Can you see it? Okay, I'm going to show you this onion. Can you see how that's translucent? See how I can see through it? I'll put it side by side. That's what it looked like when we started, and that's what it looks like now. You see it like this? Okay. So, now we're going to add our chicken stock to this pan. Emma is old enough, she's 13, so let's turn it this way. So she is capable of adding this chicken stock herself. But parents, if you have younger kids, I'm gonna ask that you go ahead and add this liquid just so nothing splashes up. All right, you can have one too. Oh, I hear a sizzle. You wanna add some, how about I let you stir? Okay, good job. Okay, great. And Grace, you want to go ahead and add only one person on the stove at a time though, so if you could back up so she could do that. Thank you. Lots of stuff. Okay. We're going to hold off on these, on the parsley and the garlic just for a second because we can move to our next step. So we're going to go ahead and add our chicken and our rice. So your chicken, you needed 2 cups of shredded chicken. If you don't have chicken, we'll make a veggie soup. So we're going to go ahead and measure those 2 cups. Grace, can you go ahead and measure that for me? And we're going to add that into our pot. That's okay. Good job. Okay. That's good. Good job. Now, can you go wash your hands since we have chicken juice? I'm going to rinse mine too. Okay. So now we have all of our veggies, our fresh thyme, we've got our chicken stock, and we just added our 2 cups of chicken. So you should have all of those things in your pot. So mental checklist time, did you do all the steps we did? Next, we're gonna go ahead and add, Jack, do you wanna come over and help me? Come this way. Good. We're gonna add our rice. This is just a regular white rice. It's the kind that my children like the best. And we're gonna get 1 full cup of that rice, okay? Get it all in there. And then I want you to kind of level across and see if you have a really good measurement. So can you kind of drag your hand across there and make sure? Awesome, do you think that looks good? I do too. Okay, so does your rice look like this? Perfect. Then Jack, can you go ahead and add that to our pot? Okay. The next step in your soup is that you're going to want to bring your soup up to a boil. So depending on the age of your children, parents, you're going to need to help with this part. Emma is old enough to do that. So we're going to be bringing our soup up to a boil, and once it boils, then we're going to bring it down to a simmer. So Emma, can you bring it up to a boil? Okay. So this soup is going to take about 25 to 30 minutes. You'll know it's done when your rice is tender. So if you want to have a tasting spoon, you could taste it in about 20 minutes. You're tasting for your seasoning and you're tasting your rice to make sure it's nice and tender. So once this comes up to boil, I can hear our starting. Questions?
Yes, Sarah Ford has another great question. Yeah. What's the difference between chicken stock and chicken broth?
That is a great question. I always buy chicken stock because I think it has a little bit more concentrated flavor, and I like the cleaner list of ingredients if I am just being perfectly honest. But you could totally use chicken broth if you had that. I had to use some the other day because grocery stores are really out of chicken stock right now. So I just use it as what I prefer in the kitchen because I think it tastes the most similar to a homemade stock. And always, if you had that, that would be the most ideal. But don't worry, because our garlic in there is going to make it taste a lot more homemade. Hope that answers your question. Okay, good. Okay, so our soup is coming up to a boil here, and then we're going to be reducing it down to a simmer. So does anybody here know what the difference between a simmer and a boil is? Like, what do the bubbles look like when it's boiling? Big bubbles. Okay, and when we're simmering, we're going to have teeny tiny bubbles, and they're not going to be happening all the time. They're going to be happening every so often. So, boiling, big bubbles happening all the time. Simmering, little bubbles happening every so often, okay? So ours is almost there. I'm gonna let Emma finish this, and I'm gonna have Jack and Grace come over. Remember, we're not leaving our stove, so you've gotta have somebody on the stove. So, Jack, do you want Grace over here? Is that best? Come over here. So, we are using our parsley leaves. We're not gonna use the stems, although there are times where you would use fresh stems. Cilantro stems are really great if you put it in your slow cooker or into a white chicken chili. But today we're just gonna use our leaves. So, Grace is gonna be chopping with her knife, and Jack used his scissors. Now, buddy, you did an awesome job cutting the leaves off. Now I want them to be about this size. So do you think you could focus on that? So parents, again, awesome if you can show them an example size piece, put it on their cutting board, and then they have an example to know what to look at. And we're showing you 2 different ways that 2 different age groups can accomplish this. So she's gonna go ahead and use our knife, and then if you're under the age of 9, scissors are a great tool, okay? All right, and so while they're super busy, I'm just gonna clean up our workstation. It's always important that we clean as we go. So kids, if you're cooking at home, your parents aren't gonna let you cook if you bomb the kitchen every time. So if you love to cook, make sure you're being respectful of your parents and keeping it clean as you go. So for the purpose of this, I'll help them out today. But usually at my house, if you cook, you clean. Okay, some of this stuff out of the way. Don't need these anymore. Okay. So we want, I took it away, we want 1/4 cup of our parsley. So we're gonna grab that real fast. Could you make them just a little bit smaller, Grace? And then here is 1/4 cup, and I just want you guys to put it into that measuring cup for me, okay? Good job. And Grace is doing an awesome job showing you how you can pull, if you're doing your parsley, one thing that you can be doing is you drag it all into a pile, put that hand flat on the blade, and we're just gonna press through like this, okay? So we're not gonna be curling our fingers this time. I want you to have your hand flat on the blade and going back through, okay? And buddy, you're doing an awesome job. I love your concentration and focus. Perfect.
Hey, Stephanie, we had some really good questions, and I have the same question. If we don't have fresh parsley, is it okay to use the flakes? And if so, how much?
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm not a huge fan of that in a soup like this. You could do it, maybe try 1 tablespoon and see. Obviously, I did understand that, there was a chance people wouldn't have fresh parsley. If it was just me cooking, I would probably omit that. It's not gonna be adding a ton of flavor. It's really just adding that bright green color into your soup because it's appetizing. Green and red are the most appetizing colors to your eyes when you're eating. So it's just giving us that. Oh, and then can you go ahead and turn your heat down? Reminder to be simmering, if anybody out there. So we're simmering our soup. So Katie, did they have any other questions? I hope that answered. If you don't have it, just leave it out. It's totally fine. If you want to experiment with the dried parsley, totally do, but maybe start with 1 tablespoon because it's really going to scatter when you put it in there.
Yeah, what about the scissors that Jack is using? Are they a special kind of scissors, or can we just use school scissors? What's going on there?
Yeah, so they're actually just kid safety scissors. They're not kitchen shears meant for kids. Here we only use them for cooking. So what I would recommend to at home is just going to any store like Target, buying kid safety scissors, and then designating them as your child's kid kitchen shear. So they're just safety scissors. Okay, so soup is simmering. Katie, jump in if you've got more questions for me. Soup is now simmering. We've got our parsley going. And now for our roasted garlic. This is kind of a funny ingredient because how we are going to get this garlic out is we're actually going to squeeze it. Okay, so who wants to squeeze it? Okay. All right, how about you squeeze half and then you squeeze half? Okay, and we need 1 tablespoon. I'm going to just get a different one. we're going to squeeze 1 tablespoon. So we're going to take it at the bottom, kind of by that bulb again. And we're just going to squeeze this garlic out, okay? I know it's kind of funny looking, but that is what you're looking for. So that whole, it's really sticky too, but that whole clove is going to be coming out. Yeah, that's good. Be coming out. So let's squeeze it and not pick it apart. Okay. Good job. Okay, Jack, did you want to do a little bit of it? Okay. So this actually still has the paper on it, so that's not clean yet. You want to squeeze that one for me? So squeeze it at the bottom. Let's not get it all over our hands. Good. Okay. And we're just going to kind of level it across and press it down so it looks like that. Okay, very good. Okay, this is basically where our recipe is going to stop. When your rice is tender, I want you to taste your soup for seasoning. Your mom needs to make sure it's the correct temperature, blow on it, and I want you to be tasting. Does this taste salty enough for me? Is it the right flavor? Then you're going to add your 1/4 cup of parsley and your 1 tablespoon of roasted garlic. These are your finishers. So when that rice is all tender, it tastes salt and peppered and seasoned to your liking, you're going to go ahead and add your parsley and your garlic. You're going to stir it a few more times, and then you're ready to serve it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this soup. We're going to be eating it for lunch, so I hope that you guys are too. Do you have questions? Okay, all good. Well, again, please join us this spring when everything is calmed down. We would love to have you, and also we would love to have you in our summer camps. And again, if you liked this and would like us to do more, please let us know, and also give us some ideas of things your kids would want to cook.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Hey, so my daughters are 7 and 9, and they attended one of your cooking class series that was 4 weeks long. Tell us about the things for younger kids, like your Saturday options and things like that.
Yeah, for sure. So we start cooking with kids as young as 3 years old. And so a lot of our classes on the weekends, we have a membership program during the week for our really advanced students, but our other classes are theme-based. So they're really fun. So we have like Frozen 2, well, they'll make Olaf cupcakes. They make frozen hot chocolate. We also have Mommy and Me classes on the weekends, or Grandparent and Me, but so you can come and cook with your child. But really, we try to keep up with the trends happening in the, just the general kid world. So, and we make a class out of it. So I know Mulan is getting ready to release, so we're making cherry blossom cupcakes and theming the menu around what's happening in these kids' life and bringing it into the kitchen.
I love it. And I'm seeing Sarah and other people saying that their house smells amazing right now. So,
I love that.
Yeah, I love this getting our kids cooking. I mean, for many of us, we're cooking again for the first time in a long time, So this is fantastic. Thank you so much to Jack and Emma and Grace. We really appreciate you guys joining in today. And thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you, Katie. This is a great opportunity for so many families to stay engaged.
And thank you to your director. I heard it's her directorial debut.
It is. She has a future in cinematography. So that's my manager, Carolyn. She only likes her hands on camera, so you'll probably never see her face. But, she keeps our videos running really smoothly for us.
Great job. Well, thank you guys so much. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
And thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for being a part of our live virtual playdate today. Don't forget, there's 2 ways that you can be a part of our playdate tomorrow. We are still looking for a couple of families to be a part of our playdate. Tomorrow are our dry swimming lessons. So we're going to have an at-home swim lesson in your living room, kitchen, wherever you guys want. And we still do need a couple families to participate. So if your kids are interested in being live on our playdate tomorrow, it's super simple. You'll just go live from your phone at certain times throughout the playdate. It's usually about a 30-minute playdate. and we can show your kids on the screen. So please, please, please let us know if you're interested. We're still looking for at least one more family at this point. We like to have a few families involved. Also, if you guys share your photos from today's Playdate on Instagram, or even if you're watching on the replay and you begin to make this soup with your children, send us your photos on Instagram, tag Indie with Kids, tag Sprouts Cooking School, and we will share them tomorrow on our Playdate so that everyone can see how much fun we're all having in our homes with each other during this time. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to check out indiewithkids.com. Tomorrow is our Goldfish Swim School dry swim lessons. And Friday, we have author Jen Campbell from Farm Wife Feeds. And she wrote a book called Meet Pete. And she's going to read the book to us and then take us on a visit to her cattle barn where she's going to snuggle with baby calves. Can't wait to see them and can't wait to see you all tomorrow. Bye, guys.